What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to today's video. We'll be talking about some Madden 20 news, and I'm sure this video is going to be at least 10 minutes and 1 second long. But as we get into the video, throughout this video, I think ultimately what we're going to go through is all the XFactor and Superstar abilities for the quarterbacks. I originally was just going to make a video from my experience on the Overpowered Abilities, but MaddenSchool.com took all of these abilities, XFactor and just base Superstar, put it all into a nice little simple list that I'm going to be able to kind of, take my own personal notes, dive into what they have. They actually had a couple abilities I missed on, and we'll be able to break it down. So full credit to Madden School for some of this information that you guys are going to be seeing here today and listening to. But ultimately, what I want to get from this video is that so many people have seen the EA Play footage, you've seen the Twitch streams, and we're coming away with the fact that I've actually claimed that maybe Patrick Mahomes is going to be as overpowered as Madden 04 Vic. Now, that I've actually had time to play the game quite a bit, I think that there's a new quarterback that has entered his name into the overpowered 04 Vic territory, and it is going to shock you. It is going to simply shock you. So make sure you subscribe, smash the like button. How does this work? How do you clickbait these things? I don't know, but I'm going to get into that in just 1 second as we go through the abilities, why I think there is a certain quarterback that will be more overpowered than Mr. Patrick Mahomes. But again, with all the X-Factors and Superstars, it does come down to your play style. There's going to be some people that are going to be able to utilize these scrambling quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson and make them way better than, say, these pocket passers that have unbelievable abilities like Tom Brady. It's all about, different strokes for different folks, but we're going to go through these abilities here today. So we need to start by what quarterbacks have been blessed with these brand new abilities. So looking at the Superstar X-Factor, so these are the creme de la creme, the big daddies. Aaron Rodgers, Cam Newton, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Andrew Luck, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Russell Wilson, and Patrick Mahomes. All these guys have Superstar X-Factor abilities. Most of them also have base Superstar abilities, but quarterbacks that just have the passive Superstars, which means you don't have to get into a certain zone to activate them, that don't have X-Factors, are Matt Ryan, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson. I'm an Eagles fan. Carson Wentz does not have a single ability. There are abilities that enhance a quarterback's ability to break sacks in the pocket. If you've ever seen any highlight of Carson Wentz, he's been arguably as much of a human highlight reel when he's on the field, stay healthy for 16 games, is his ability to extend plays in the pocket. And the fact that he didn't get, there's like 2 of them that are essentially extending plays in the pocket abilities. He didn't get any of them is ridiculous. And not just being completely biased and salty that Carson Wentz is going to be just bland average when this game drops. But no, Dak Prescott didn't get any abilities. Jared Goff didn't get any abilities. So there's definitely going to be a vocal section of Madden fans that are upset that some of the really good quarterbacks, I get there's going to be some abilities that cater to scrambling quarterbacks. And Lamar Jackson's as scrambly as you can get. But, Lamar Jackson just generally getting ability over Wentz, Dak, and Goff. Even I love Deshaun Watson. I've been a huge Deshaun Watson fan since he was at Clemson. Getting them over Dak, Wentz, and Goff. So I don't know, man. It's still and there's still a chance before release some new quarterbacks get abilities and stuff like that. But definitely Wentz, Dak, and Goff. And even you could throw in like Kyler Murray, for example, for some of these scrambling quarterback abilities. You could arguably say that they got robbed. So we have 2 different types of abilities. By now, you should all understand the difference between X-Factor abilities and just Superstar abilities. So there's Superstar X-Factor. These are huge abilities that you have to essentially achieve in-game objectives to activate them, and that is where the video game takes off from reality. This is where things get super overpowered, and at quarterback position, I'll tell you right now, X-Factor abilities, I think, are the most important defensive lineman. A defensive lineman X-Factor will ruin your game more than any other position, but quarterback's probably the runner-up. So I was originally only going to talk about why I think one of these X-Factor abilities is so much better than the rest, and it's not a Patrick Mahomes one, which leads me to believe and tell you that Mahomes is not the most overpowered because he doesn't have this certain ability, and we'll talk about that as the last breakdown of the X-Factor. So outside of the one I want to get to, we have Freight Train, X-Factor ability for Cam Newton. Basically, it's when they enter the zone, the ability increases their chance to break the next tackle. It makes sense for Cam Newton. He's incredibly difficult to bring down. How overpowered this is going to be in real life when you actually start getting in the game, I don't think this one's going to be too much of a problem for anyone. Obviously, you might get certain, with all these X-Factors, you might get certain drafted players and stuff that could have multiple ones of these that make them freaky. But I think for Cam Newton, it makes sense for him to get this ability. I don't think it's going to be overly powered. We have Pro Reads. This is for Brady, Roethlisberger, and Luck. It is when your first wide receiver gets open, they get highlighted in red, above their heads, so you can like, it lets you know who the first wide receiver gets open. This is probably the ability I've used the most in all my hours playing Madden. 20, it's good. I like it. I mean, ultimately, it's not going to be overpowered because it's an ability that if you're already a strong player, a good player at Madden, you're going to know who the first open wide receiver is. There's Fearless. This is Breeze and Phillip Rivers. When they enter the zone, their passing accuracy is unaffected by defensive pressure. This one's pretty. I like to think this one's probably the second best one, just because it comes down to gameplay and animations, and any of these abilities that I think that could be animation based, or at least eliminate certain animations, I think they are definitely trending more in the overpowered direction. So Fearless is good. So Breeze and Rivers got that. Blitz Radar for Russell Wilson. This ability is that all blitzing linebackers and DBs are highlighted after the snap. That's pretty good. Again, this comes down to easy mode. If you're a good player at Madden already, you don't really need all these extra on-field graphics to let you know how to play right, but it can't help the casual player. There's Bazooka, which has been the big one for Patrick Mahomes, is when you get into the zone, your throw distance increases by 15 yards. Yeah, I think the most overpowered thing about Bazooka is when Patrick Mahomes is going to be like 38 and have like 85 throw power and still can make those throws, but it's definitely a big marketing tool of the game because he's the cover athlete. But the one ability that isn't getting enough talk about, and I think above all makes this one quarterback the most overpowered player in the game, and that is the Gambler XFactor ability. The quarterback that learns to take calculated risks. When they enter the zone, they can't be intercepted by AI defenders. No matter how bad of a pass you throw, no matter what difficulty you're playing on, you basically will have at least one clear interception dropped. Aaron Rodgers is the only player that has this ability. This is, without a doubt, the most overpowered ability. It gives you, like, remember they used to have Madden Rewind? When you'd make a terrible play and you'd be able to just straight up rewind that play, get it back, and act like it never happened? That's essentially what this is for Aaron Rodgers. Now, obviously, when you play in your base rosters, it's going to be, Aaron Rodgers itself is already going to be an overpowered player. But these abilities, you got to think in your head, for franchise modes, we're a franchise mode community. These are going to be guys that are going to be coming to the draft with these abilities. So once you play your 500 snaps, use that little bit of fog of war that's in franchise mode, which is awesome, and you find out that your random guy, Joe Blow, hopefully the schools are better. It's not going to be Joe Blow from Grambling State. That's an 85 superstar XFactor right out of college. But when you see, and you're waiting, you're playing these snaps, you're actually playing in preseason right now to get those snaps in. You're like, oh, is he gonna get freight train? Is he gonna get pro reads? Fearless? You're gonna hit the home run on getting Gambler. Now this is a thing too that I think is really, really big for franchise mode that not enough people are talking about as a positive franchise mode. There's this RNG now added into the game. The RNG of not only I have to figure out I have to play because of the fog of war to find out if I have a superstar or if I have a superstar X Factor, but it's also going to be what is the skill tree of my superstar X Factor? Am I going to get the guy that has pro reads? Am I going to get the player that has the pro reads ability? Am I going to get the guy that's fearless, blitz radar? Maybe the next Mahomes get bazooka, or am I going to get that gambler ability? I feel like that little bit of RNG behind closed doors gambling, no one knows loot box kind of style thing. Is awesome, man. It's like loot boxes without actually paying any money. So I think that is really, really good. Now, for me, because I use custom draft classes for the first couple of years, not going to be super exciting because I'll be able to set what players get certain abilities anyways. But for all you guys out there that utilize these draft classes, this is going to be huge for the game. So for my money, based upon X Factors, it's not Patrick Mahomes that is the most overpowered. Give me that basically free interception that you get from the gambler ability with Aaron Rodgers. So from that, we go into the superstar abilities that aren't the X Factors. So like I said at the beginning, you guys know the difference now. There's superstar X Factors, and then there's just the superstar abilities. These superstar abilities don't need to be activated and can't be lost. So your players have these abilities at all times. In terms of really, really overpowered ones, there's two that I do want to highlight. There's a bunch of dead eyes, which help you with accuracy on different types of throws inside. There's roaming. You have escape artist for the scrambling quarterbacks, which is... This one actually sounds pretty good. Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes. I probably would have put Carson Wentz in there. Its passers with this ability are faster and more responsive to user input when scrambling behind the line of scrimmage. So that means your stick moves are going to be a lot better. I think this is actually a really, really useful one. Could be potentially overpowered. You have fast break, which is for scrambling quarterbacks. Anchored extender. Brady basically has 4 of his own that are really, really good. Hot Route Master gives you 4 extra hot routes during pre-play adjustments. You have Conductor. You can pretty much make all hot route and blocking assignments twice as fast, excluding your audibles. You have Clutch, which is midway through the fourth quarter in close games. Players with this ability can easily and remain in the zone, which helps their superstar X Factor abilities. Pocket lead, safety throws. Safety valve's an interesting one. You improve the catch rating for all running backs who are open on pass plays. That is Drew Brees' ability, obviously with Alvin Kamara. Indoor baller, which is for players that play indoors. They're going to easily enter the zone. There's home one. I think it's called Homer for Ben Roethlisberger because he's so bad on the road. When he's playing at home, players can easily enter their ability when they are playing at home. So that makes sense for Big Ben. But the best ones, there's two best ones. You have the no-look Deadeye is a popular one for Patrick Mahomes. Players has ability of the perfect pass accuracy on crossbody throws, which we've already talked about. But I think the two best ones, so to go along with Gambler being the best superstar X Factor, for superstar abilities, first up we have Dashing Deadeye, which I think just for the casual player, this is going to be a big one. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers again, notice that name. Patrick Mahomes and Andrew Luck have this. And passers with this ability have perfect accuracy on all throws while running outside of the pocket, except on high and low throws. So pretty much anytime you're scrambling, these guys are going to have perfect abilities. You throw that for Aaron Rodgers with the fact that you get that free interception. That is why I truly believe he is going to be the most overpowered quarterback when it comes to Madden 20, just based upon the abilities alone. And then we got to show a little bit of love to Tom Brady. I think this is going to be a huge one for, even like I said, in your franchise modes quarterbacks that you're going to draft. It's called Protected. Brady's the only quarterback that will have this on launch. Passers with this ability receive better pass blocking from their O-linemen. That is huge. You're literally getting 5 players better with one ability. I don't know how really this is going to use. I did not play with Tom Brady, obviously, during the beta. I really would be interested how overpowered that is. How does that actually work? But I assume, because it's Madden, you're just going to start stonewalling guys. And the fact that this ability is activated at all times, you have this at all times. You can't lose it. It's so big. You literally have one player that's going to make your entire offensive line better. So I think, I'm not even going to lie, Protected might be the most overpowered X-Factor, superstar X-Factor ability, and it's just a base one that Tom Brady has all the time. So imagine if you get a rookie quarterback, if you get a 23, 20, whatever year old, 21-year-old from probably, University of Ohio. That's just Miami, Ohio. You get the next Ben Roethlisberger, some small school that never actually gets quarterbacks anymore because it's Madden. You end up getting them, and he gets protected as a 21-year. That means over the next 10 years, your offensive line is going to be generally better than any other offensive line just because you have that one player. So I think Protected is generally the most overpowered. Throw in Dashing Deadeye and Gambler, and the fact that Aaron Rodgers have 2 of 3 of these abilities. Give me A-Raj for the most overpowered quarterback. But all in all, man, I have to go back to the fact that chalk it up, superstar X-Factor abilities are awesome. These abilities are huge for Madden. I love them. It makes the game feel like a video game. And while defensive lineman ones, Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, all these guys are going to be unbelievably overpowered. Moonlight Swami came out and tweeted, this is the biggest takeaway for me from this beta weekend, that there's going to be offensive line abilities. These are abilities that have been added. 10 of these guys. It was the biggest thing is I wanted my offensive linemen to be able to find a way to counter, the overpowered Aaron Donald. And then before, you pretty much could just shift your offensive line double team. That was it. But I truly do believe when I look at, a big one, honestly, Khalil Mack's going to ruin days. But when they play the Eagles, historically, when Khalil Mack's been on the Bears, when Khalil Mack's been on the Raiders, Lane Johnson has dominated him. And then Khalil Mack's unbelievable, but I think the fact that Lane Johnson can actually, at times just take away this truly elite player, they should have X-Factor abilities. So Moonlight Swami made a tweet saying that these guys will have abilities. That is huge for the game. It makes sense that they should have these set abilities because, there's truly elite, like David Bakhtiari should have one. Marshall Yanda, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Tyron Smith, all these really good offensive linemen should be rewarded with superstar X-Factor because they can themselves take over games. They can completely neutralize a strength of an opposing team's defense because they're that damn good. So definitely stay tuned for all that information. I want to know what you guys think about all these abilities. I'll leave the link to the Madden School stuff so you guys can go in there, get a little bit better of a look. But do you agree that Gambler, Protected, Dashing Deadeye are going to be the most overpowered? And do you think Aaron Rodgers, people even call him A-Raj? Is that just something I started? Aaron Rodgers. Does anyone else think that he's going to be the most overpowered, or you still think Mr. Patrick Mahomes will take the cake? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, plenty more Madden 20 news and stuff like that will be coming on the channel, breaking it down, getting you guys excited for Madden 20. If it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed, and until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.